All right, well, at this point, we understand from the hostels that have come here, of course, they've explained some of the issues that they've highlighted as the crime in the area, which they've asked now the ministers as well as the law enforcement to take care of. And, of course, this is going to be an in-depth chat that is going to continue even beyond this point. But I want to bring in now the ministers to speak to us, of course, about their related state now going forward. Minister Bheki Cele, let's just perhaps start with you at this very point. I think one of the highlighted issues is that the people here are saying they're unhappy with how they have had conversations or how they have worked on the ground with the police officers. However, they are willing to work with the police. Can you perhaps give us an understanding on going forward, how are you going to work with the hostel?
Well, thanks, Madlala. This is not the first time we have been dealing with the matters of the hostel. Some time ago, we were at Jablani, where they raised the issues of a criminal that was very brutal, killing people there. They gave us the name and all that. Fortunately, that criminal was found by the police in KZN when we have worked with them on the proper information. So we wanted this follow-up, both the Izinduna and the police. There are 53 hostels here in Gauteng, but there are those that are specific that were here today, mostly Johannesburg hostels. They raised some issues. They did raise the non-cooperation between themselves and the police, but they also raised that there is a good cooperation with some of the police. So we need to enhance those areas where there are problems. The last meeting, a mini meeting that we've had after the main meeting. We had a mini meeting before and we had a mini meeting after. That is going to be taken by some Izinduna, especially this one. These are specific Izinduna from Dube that they have suggested that how they're going to work with the provincial commissioner to create the cooperating structures so that it's easy that they find the police and the police they find them. But also the National Commissioner have suggested, of which they're going to take through within the Provincial Commissioner, of the quick response of the teams that will be working with specific hostels. As you had said, that the response time is quite bad. It takes very long time before they come. So we need to improve on that kind of thing. But all along, there's been that not very smooth working relationship. It does look like we're going to be smoothing that and easy working with them. But the other thing that they've raised is that while the crime is committed here, those people, they move to their rural homes in KZN and vice versa. So it will be easy to get the information where those people are so that the police can easily respond. But the improvement of the relationship, that has been one of the biggest things. And one other thing is that they raised the issue that they would love to work with every political party coming here so that they are free and they are safe to do things that, as is a campaigning time now, to do things that was raised by Izinduna with us to say it would be good if we work together on those matters going forward.
But then why choose to speak to Izinduna and Makosi in Soweto instead of actually speaking to every community member about these issues?
Well, we have been having Izimbizo in Soweto in the township and all that. But there is specific issues that we're talking with the communities of Hostel. Well, we'll understand that Izinduna, they are a structure, they are an authority. What also helps is that there are authority hostels here and there are authority back at home in the rural areas, because they still report at Amakosi back home. So there is crime that is specifically happened. One of the main issues here is that criminals, they hide in hostels. They don't deny that themselves. They do say it's a problem of people that is not known that they come here. So it is important to deal with them. But as I've said also, they are the authority to work with as the entry point. But they did say that does not restrict the work of the police. For instance, they don't expect police to tell them that they're going to come in the hostel and all that, but they would not mind if they are taken on board, maybe after those kind of operations and all that kind of thing. But as I've said, working with them here, it also helps that it can lead with working going back home. For instance, the old Induna Umbata, we have agreed that we'll be going to Kuti where there is a problem, because most of those problems that they end up being factional fights, they originate either from hostel back home or from home up to hostel. So if you sort them once with this Induna, you would have solved the problem of hostel, but also the problem of faction fight back home. So it is important that you work with them.
But do you have perhaps an idea in terms of how Izinduna is supposed to play a role of leadership, not just for the hostels, but for the communities, as you engage with them with what's happening here in Soweto?
Well, they are traditional leaders. There is even the issue of remuneration. I understand that they are remunerated back home. So how is it happening when it comes here? That is a story that will take to the Minister of Kokta to take the thing forward. But as I say, that they have authority, they are respected by the people. As I'm saying, you still find those in Duna that come from different areas. Most of people here will come from Msinga, Nkandla, Mahlabathini and all that. We were Beckville, Mnambiti. So as I say, it helps that you killing two birds with one stone. If you resolve those matters here in Johannesburg, are already resolved back home, or vice versa, because we do have problem of faction fights that originated from hostels or vice versa. So it's important to take them. But also, they take the information to Amakosi, and you are able to speak to Amakosi without really seeing them, unless if they want to see us. So it's an authority that they take their work and information further. You don't just talk to them alone here. That information will be taken further, even reaching the king if it needs be, as we have heard us talking to say, maybe in these things of most is Nqobile coming from the province of KZN, which is true, which themselves they admit when you give them information, might end up inviting even the king to say, let's see how we can deal with these matters.
And perhaps lastly, Minister, and also to all of you as law officials, the question is then, how are you going to deal with the law enforcers that are working with criminals? Because I think a bulk of people who stood on the stage also said that there were a number of police officers that are seen in these areas collecting or somehow working with the criminals.
I think the National Commissioner is better placed to answer on that one.
Thanks. Well, some of we heard that some police members are working with criminals, and there we are engaging with the Indunas. We'll get names for those specific police officers, because just not generalized, and we'll deal decisively with those members that are involved in any criminality or coalition or cooperating with criminals. We'll definitely deal with them individually.
And of course, this is becoming an issue. Everywhere you go, communities keep pointing out a hand, saying that the police are part of this. What is the long-term plan?
The long-term plan is that also we should be responsible as the community. We need to work together. Where we see a police member doing something wrong, let's report that specific member, and not just report in general and leave it there. If we leave it there, it might continue. We might be, in a way, promoting it. But let's report it. Like the Indunas, they say they do work well with station commanders. So at those meetings, that's where they must give specifics, and we will deal with those members or rotten potatoes that are dealing with working with criminals.
All right, and the last question perhaps is that they've asked for a regalia of some sort to be seen, like CPF, how that they are working with the police. Is this something that you're going to be looking at?
ourselves together with the MEC, as you are aware that the MEC do have patrollers and we have community in blue, will engage and see how we bring in the Indunas in that regard.
All right, thank you very much. That is, of course, the provincial commissioner, as well as the minister, as well as the national commissioner, just speaking to us, of course, about some of the issues that they have unpacked in this Imbizo, where we saw some of the hostel residents just highlighting some of the issues that they're faced with, and most of those issues have looked into how the crime has eroded some of the systems, as well as how they can work with the police officer to ensure that they can actually get rid of that crime. And we're hearing from the minister at this very point that this is going to be something they're going to be taking back to KZN, even if it means that they do engage with the king to look into that issue of Izinga.